Hey NBA fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome into Chat Sports, and today we have a Kevin Love top 14 trade destination news video for you guys here. It's a mouthful, but we're going to try and give you guys 4 destinations that could happen in terms of trading Kevin Love out of Cleveland and over to possibly a contender, as the latest news coming out of ESPN over the past couple of days that the Cavs are interested in moving Kevin Love at the trade deadline. Before we start though, like this video if you would want your NBA team to trade for Kevin Love. If you want Kevin Love, you'd like Kevin Love, go ahead, give it a thumbs up. Without further ado, let's jump right into it. So again, more news earlier this week talking about how Cleveland is open to trading Kevin Love. In fact, they would prefer to deal Kevin Love at the trade deadline, as he, of course, still has 3 years and $90 million right about left on that deal. They're trying to get younger. They're trying to get more draft picks. They're trying to get younger players. They want to move on from Kevin Love, and Kevin Love would prefer to be traded to a contender, which of course makes sense because he wants to go ahead and try and win another championship before his career is over. Does have an injury history, but also can still be a valuable starter in terms of the 4 spot, even the 5 spot, a stretch 4 and 5, as we know he is. 15.6 points per game this year, 10.5 rebounds, right about 2.6 assists, and 35% from 3. He can be a piece on a team that could use a little more, 3-point shooting from their front court, a little more stretch out from their front court as well. Kevin Love, he's older, yes. Has the playoff experience, yes. I think he's going to be a very, very hot name, a very, very big target for a lot of teams at the trade deadline, and here are the top 4 teams that potentially could be doing that. Before we start, though, watching this on YouTube, you might get hit by an ad right now. Just scroll down while the ad goes and hit me up with an answer to this question: where should Kevin Love be traded? If you guys could pick anywhere that you want Kevin Love to be traded, even if it's not impossible, where would you want him to go? Again, let the ad run. Let me know in the comment section. There'll be a pinned comment down below. Go ahead and answer that. I'm going to read through and see what you guys think. All right, starting with the first team here on my list of 4, how about the Phoenix Suns? They actually make a ton of sense, and there are a lot of media outlets in Phoenix right now that would like to see Kevin Love traded to the Suns. The first bit of thing here that makes a lot of sense has to do with the Suns GM James Jones. Remember him? Played with Kevin Love on the Cavs. They have a connection there, so that would make sense. And the roster could use some veteran depth, I should say, or a veteran presence on a roster that is trying to make the playoffs, as they are really sitting there as a contender for the 8th spot in the Western Conference. They had the financial flexibility, and if you do the mock trade them to show you guys right now, it would make a lot of sense. You center it around Tyler Johnson. You owe him $9.2 million a year. Dario Saric, and then of course Mikal Bridges. That would get you over and probably enough to go ahead and trade for Kevin Love. So of course the Tyler Johnson contract frees up the money. The Dario Saric contract goes ahead and frees up the power forward spot, and Mikal Bridges makes it enticing enough for the Cleveland Cavaliers. He is a young star, or a young rising star. He's very, very tough to give away for the Suns, but if you like what you have with Devin Booker and Ricky Rubio, and adding Kevin Love to this starting 5 would make a lot of sense. Now, if you could do it without getting rid of Dario Saric, it'd be great to move him to the bench. He's averaging about 12 points per game right now, but I see more of a package of Johnson, Saric, and Bridges being that 3-player trade to entice Cleveland to go ahead and make the move. Now, this is what your starting 5 would look like if you were to actually pull this off. Rubio, Booker, Kelly Oubre, Kevin Love, and of course DeAndre Ayton after he returns from his 25-game suspension, getting close to that overall. Phoenix is a fascinating team currently because they're a lot better than they've been in the past couple of years, and maybe with one other piece, a playoff veteran like Kevin Love could make a lot of sense for the Phoenix Suns. What do you guys think? Will the Suns make the playoffs this year, even without Kevin Love? Will they make the playoffs this year? Type Y down below for yes. Type N down below for no. If you guys are big fans of the Suns, you think your team, if it's not the Suns, is going to go ahead and make the postseason, why don't you bet on it? Put your money where your mouth is with our friends at BetDSI. Chatsports.com/bet. Promo code DEAL120 will get you a 120% deposit bonus whenever you first sign up. Again, our friends at BetDSI make it so easy to bet on the NBA, college football, the NFL, the MLB, and in this case, the NBA. All you got to do, the promo code I have for you, BetDSI, chatsports.com/bet. Use the promo code DEAL120 to be able to get in on a lot of extra money to bet on your team. Okay, team number 2, this one makes a lot of sense too. How about the Sacramento Kings, who are also fighting for the 8th seed in the West? They've had a little bit of injury problems right now, but they still need a big who can shoot some threes, and that's exactly what Kevin Love is able to do. Again, I mentioned the injuries. You could potentially center this around Bogdanovich. You could throw in Harry Giles and then Trevor Ariza, and then your starting five would look something like De'Aaron Fox, Buddy Hield, Harrison Barnes, Kevin Love, and Marvin Bagley, again, once everybody is healthy and good to go. They've been dealing with some injuries on this squad. It's a good trade for Cleveland as well because they actually get younger because Bogdanovich is only 27 years old. You can build around him. You can play a lot of minutes with him, and he would be I think, for Cleveland, a nice piece to kind of really integrate into that roster and then put the young guys around him and see what you can do with that squad. Again, Bogdanovich, Harry Giles, Trevor Ariza for Kevin Love would most likely get it done and give you a chance as Sacramento with a young core around Buddy Hield and De'Aaron Fox and Marvin Bagley to potentially make a run at the 8th seed. Again, these two teams of our four, talking about the Suns and the Sacramento Kings, are both teams that are going to be trying to make a playoff push. Now, you can make the case, well, what's the point of trying for the 8th seed because you're going to lose to the Lakers or the Clippers, whoever the 1 seed is in the first round. When you're this kind of organization and this kind of fan base, you really just want to get into the postseason. Just get there. All right, that's your NBA building block. Get to the postseason, be an 8th seed, win a game, make it a 5-game series, and that's enough to make your franchises and really your fans happy, at least for this year. You build upon it and try and at least win a playoff series in the next season. So again, Sacramento, the Suns, 1 and 2, they make a ton of sense right there. I think they're both going to be very, very active at the trade deadline, but perhaps Kevin Love could be one of them. Before we move on to what I think is going to be the most likely team he's going to be traded to, subscribe to our Chat Sports YouTube channel. We're 143,000 strong, and we're growing right now, and we do a ton of trade rumors, trade probability stuff, NBA news, NFL stuff. If you guys are not subscribed to Chat Sports, go ahead, click the red subscribe button, click the notification bell as well. We would greatly appreciate that. All right. Destination number 3, and the one that I think makes the most sense has to be Kevin Love to the Portland Trailblazers. A lot of reasons why. Kevin Love is from Oregon. He has said many times that many people think he would prefer to be dealt to the Blazers, and the Blazers right now are currently sitting at a place where, yes, they're playing well, and people are very excited about Carmelo Anthony, even though they have a losing record right now with Carmelo Anthony, but they could still use a guy like Kevin Love because they lost Rodney Hood to a torn Achilles just a couple of days ago. The trade package could include Tristan Thompson, or it could not include Tristan Thompson. Here's a mock trade without Thompson, kind of a love for Hassan Whiteside and a first-round pick. That one would make a lot of sense. Your starting 5 would turn into Lillard, McCollum, Bazemore, Melo, and Love at the 5 if you wanted to go a little bit smaller and really stretch a lot of these teams out. Remember, you'll be playing a lot of teams in the modern NBA who have stretch 5s, and you can counter with a stretch 5 of your own in Kevin Love, or if they have a true big man who can't stretch the floor, Kevin Love would be able to be a great piece to, again, stretch the floor out, shoot some threes, pull that rim protector away from the basket, and open up a lot of scoring lanes for, obviously, guys like Lillard and McCollum. This one makes the most sense. This is where I would assume he wants to go because he's kind of reportedly hinted at wanting to be traded to the Blazers. It's a matter of Cleveland making it happen for him, and of course the Blazers wanting to do it in the first place, but this again makes a lot of sense overall. It makes Portland, I think, a lot more dangerous, a lot more playoff pedigree, if you will, is a word we keep using here on this Kevin Love trade video, rumor video, whatever you want to call it, but it makes a lot of sense. I like Portland to be a real landing spot for Kevin Love. Final one in here. I'm going to throw them in, even though the money's tight and it doesn't make a ton of sense. I think a lot of people want to see this happen. That would be the Boston Celtics. And the Celtics could use some front court help, obviously losing a guy like Al Horford to the Sixers in free agency. They're a top 3 team in the Eastern Conference right now, but they don't have a lot of trade pieces. You'd either have to give away, or you most likely have to give away Gordon Hayward and some future draft picks, and that would make I think it would make Cleveland very, very happy because Gordon Hayward is still a young player, get some of those future draft picks, but obviously you're waiting for people to get healthy on the Celtics. That's kind of the main problem with Boston right now, is getting people fully healthy. But then your starting 5 could look something like this. You could have, obviously, Kemba Walker, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Kevin Love, Enes Kanter, could switch in there at the 5. You can move Kevin Love to the 5 and go for a small, more warrior death lineup. It doesn't make a lot of sense in terms of, because the Celtics are already good, and would Love make them that much better? I don't know, but I saw a lot of rumors about Boston wanting to be active at the trade deadline because they see an Eastern Conference that is ripe for the picking, even though you have a Miami Heat, you have a team in Milwaukee, the Sixers. I think Boston really feels like they have a roster that can make a deep run, and if they think that they're one stretch 4 away one front court player away. Kevin Love is a real possibility for that as well. What do you guys think? Where will Kevin Love be traded? If you guys could pick anywhere, do you guys have an idea where he would be traded? Is it one of these 4 teams? Let me know what you guys think in the comments section down below. Some teams we didn't mention, the Heat are obviously a real trade possibility. If they kind of clear up some cap space, that would make a lot of sense overall. And then you look around the rest of the NBA and try and figure out where Kevin Love could go. The Nets would make sense if they could figure out a way to free up the money, which very difficult to do. I don't think they're very high on DeAndre Jordan right now. I think they'd rather have Kyrie, Kevin Durant, and Kevin Love instead of DeAndre Jordan, but the money just didn't make sense whenever I looked at that trade. So overall, though, your 4 teams that I think make the most sense for Kevin Love would have to be the Phoenix Suns, and in no particular order, Phoenix Suns, the Sacramento Kings, the Portland Trailblazers, and the Boston Celtics. The most likely of this 4 obviously being the Portland Trailblazers because he's from there. And he has voiced a desire to return out to the West Coast and play for Portland. They could use a stretch 4. It would make a ton of sense because, again, I don't think they're very high on Hassan Whiteside right now. You get some draft picks if you're Cleveland. You get Whiteside. You use him as an additional trade piece. However you want to do it, that makes the most sense. We'll have to see, though, as we get closer and closer to the NBA trade deadline. Again, February is when the NBA trade deadline happens. I expect Kevin Love to be moved by the trade deadline, just a matter of where and not, I guess, if he's going to be traded overall. There you go, though. 4 teams that could trade for Kevin Love. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, subscribe. If you've not subscribed to Chat Sports yet, we would greatly appreciate it. A ton of stuff like this will be happening and rolling out as we get closer and closer to the NBA trade deadline in February. For Chat Sports, I'm Thomas Mott, signing off. Enjoy the rest of your day.